a series of flying to Old Wreck Mountain from Daniels Mountain. I have another video here that shows a nice day on April 15th, 2022, where Mo, Ben, Josh, Massa, and myself had a nice XC going north. And we will go into the details of flying along the east side of the Shenandoah Mountains in Virginia. So if we go to the beginning, we see Daniels Mountain over here. We have 4 tracks, and what I did is I took an IGC file for each pilot, and then I used a GPS dump, and I translated in a KML file. And the KML file I import in Google Earth Pro, where I take out all the data except for the track log, and I do change the color and the width of the track log for each pilot. So we have 4 colors. The green one, that's Josh. The red one, that's Tom, myself. And then we have the yellow one, that is Mo. And the blue one, that must be Ben then. Let's just check. Don't make a mistake here. Yeah, Ben is the blue one. At the beginning, what is remarkable is that we have a very nice low safe from Josh over here, where he goes direction to LZ and catches a nice thermal in the area where the pines are. That's where it kicks off, and yeah, he goes up. We had some east component wind, and you see that on the tracks. They incline to the left, so we had a little bit of east in there today. So everybody goes up. I'm the first one to go, and you can see that I'm not topping up as high as the other ones, and I'm actually the first one to go. And you know, I might have been off the ideal line here, or it might be still early and it's not going up, so there's kind of an inversion. What I did is I probably was like just under 4,000 feet, where the other guys, they went way higher, maybe to 6,000 feet. Then I go over 33, and I go to this area where the antenna is and the mountain top. And then I get the thermal here. It's a little bit lee side also. It works nicely, and I go up. So that's a good trick. Go to this area, and somewhere you'll find the thermal. So the other guys, they went pretty high, and when they topped out, they took a cap direction to Kinderhook, and Kinderhook Mountain is this mountain over here. But there is another point you have to know, is this mountain in front, and on this particular place you might have thermals as well, so that works as well. So for me, I just got a thermal all the way. I had a lift line here, so that worked well. But we see that Ben, he takes that thermal over here. And also the green one, that's Josh Massa, he also takes the thermal from this mountain over here. And actually goes down slope. So it's actually the end of the spur. But it works really nice because the wind is blowing in. So what we also see is that after that Kinderhook, for Mo, it worked a little bit, but it's very broken, as you can see. For me, it didn't work. I'm over here, you see, I'm not really going up. There's nothing. And nobody takes at Kinderhook, which normally has a thermal. We see also that the blue line is Ben, and he opens up. So Ben goes direction to Gravesmill, that's over here. It's not such a good area to go to, I believe. Before here, the area that works, and you can go high, but I would go a little bit deeper then, instead of opening up. But yeah, if you're low, there's no other option, of course. So here, opening up, it's tricky. You see that Josh has a better line here, and he takes actually the thermal here coming from this area. So the wind blows in here and goes up. And he has a really nice. Afterwards, his track is a little bit broken. It's a straight line, so there's some data missing. Myself, after Kinderhook, and if I don't get anything, I open up. And normally this area and Fletcher should give you some thermals. And if that doesn't work, you can pinch yourself. We call it buzzard rock. It's over here. And you can soar a little bit, and eventually the thermal will release. And you see I have a thermal release here. And yeah, it is. There's some wind on there. Eh? See the inclination. Interesting to see is the track from Mo. So Mo, when we are kind of all together, he decides to open up to the left. Well, he's not super high, and it's not my favorite route. I've been there before, but there is no landings here. So if you go here, you might land over here, but it's super tricky. So I advise you to only do this when you're super high. You see also that he comes back, because if he continues, yeah, it's a dead end there. You're not going to be able to land if something goes wrong. So he comes back, and he comes back to a nice point here and gets some nice thermal here. Don't know what the name is, but it doesn't matter. It might be Mount Thermal. Yeah. So we all continue, but you see that Ben, he got a thermal here before Gracemill, but it's super flat. So he's not able to go up a lot. And he doesn't get something at the mountain in between. And that's, yeah, he got a little bit over here. I think here he should have waited and just soar till he gets a good thermal. And sometimes because of the wind, you have to go forward and get the thermal. He goes pretty fast and then goes to this one, Gracemill Mountain, but that's difficult. And then you get kind of blown out because you're low. And I've been there before. And then you end up at Grace Mountain Lodge, which is still a great flight, by the way. Great flight. And it's easy from there. If you landed here, you can get a ride easily to Madison. That's why we dropped the car at Madison as well. So let's go back. So we had Josh. We missed some track of him. We have myself. I try to stay just high, and on every mountain where I have a south component wind, I think it's going to work. I go up, and I typically go up actually in the middle of the valley. You see, this is the mountain, and in the middle I get your thermal. That happens a lot. Just releases, and there you go. A little bit lee side thermal, So Mo, he joins my line again. And then we go to Old Wreck. Old Wreck is an interesting one. So I like this mountain here. It's kind of a pyramid. And take the line up the spine, because it's kind of a trigger point. And I'm not so high here, but I just drift, and then eventually I get the thermal. My idea is if I go up and I cannot get something, there's a spine over here you can work. If not, you can work Old Wreck, and if it doesn't work, you soar down and you can land. So I've landed here before because I couldn't just get up. So Mo, he is in a line in between, and he doesn't catch much. He might have catch something here on this spine, but he didn't. So he eventually catches it on Old Wreck Mountain. It's very spectacular for the people who are there just at the mountain. He's probably gonna be on Flickr, all those pictures. And Josh has the same. So they go to the same point over here, but it's kind of windy and it's tricky. I don't like these rocks to go up. It's so tricky. So you see that they have a kind of a flat, and more is in the nice conversions, and also Josh, I guess. So they do go up. It's really flat. Some data missing here again from Josh. I like more at the beginning of Old Wreck, because there you can go higher. You see, I go way higher here. Eventually, I'll lose it, of course, but anyway. So I like more at the beginning here, this area, and try to go up. There's another way to go up, and that's how Josh at the beginning got up, and that's this area over here. So if you actually look at it, he takes the thermal a little bit earlier. So we have the blue one that is band landing here. So band was very close. If you could have connected a little bit higher here, you probably could have gone up. But this line works also very well. We had the other day, George, he did that. I saw that, so wow, that's spectacular. And even if you get low, this hump over here also works, and this hump's like two of them, which you can work. Yeah, it's actually this one over here. Anyway, it's a spine, and you go up. So he goes up. So there's two routes. This one, the triangle over here, and then this one, the one in between. Yeah, I'm not such a favorite of that. You see that Mo doesn't really catch anything. So you want to be more left or more right. Anyway, so we continue, and I try to avoid this area and netters here over here. It doesn't really work. It's really tricky. For some people it does work, but I have been down so many times here. So if you stay high at old track, go inside, and you have this mount, and it works much better. So we continue, and we have Josh here, who is running out of batteries, and here's also some data missing again. And he decides to land because his phone is his flying device, and he has no battery anymore. So he decides to land. Josh was perfectly at the same height as Mo and myself. So if he had battery, he could have stayed a little bit more in the mountains instead of opening up. The problem of opening up is that the thermals, because of the wind, they're going to be super flat. If you stay a little bit in the mountains, you can have these lee side thermals that create, and they go more up because they're more protected and they have more power, and they will be a little bit better organized, although still flat. So that's why I like to be a little bit more in the mountains. Now, what happened here is something here at this is Sperryville here, 211. Sperryville is right over here. And Mohi opens up to the mountains. Yeah, I saw him doing that. I wasn't really a favorite for that, and we didn't have radio. We did not have radio communication. I was pinging him, but he didn't answer back, so I thought he has no radio. The problem with this line is that if it goes wrong, you have to open up again, and yeah, then you have not an ideal line. You might lose height, whatever, to go somewhere, cross on the wind. The wind was blowing south, so you see this mountain over here, you see this mountain over here. So for me, it was the obvious choice to just go, over these little valleys and little mountains and pick up the thermal, which I did. So you see that Mo didn't catch much over here, unfortunately, but he could have catch something. I mean, and then I've seen Felix doing that, and then you go straight here to in the back of Hogback over here. George and I also did that once, but it's all creepy. It's the wind was going to increase during the day, and we already passed 2 o'clock, and 3 o'clock would be kind of the limit. So going into the mountains, I don't know. Anyway, so I continue here. Mo lands here, and lands right over here. And yeah, I do the same principle. So I find these south faces, another mountain here, and then just keep on going. But at the end, we have Dickey Ridge over here. All right, so we have Dickey Ridge. I come to Chester Gap, and Chester Gap is a windy place. It's a fun. So the east wind funnels the wind through East Chester Gap, and I've landed once over here. I was like freaking out. This was maybe 10 years ago. I said never again. So I hesitated to go into Chester Gap, and good I didn't do, because afterwards I went to Front Royal and it was super windy because the wind comes through and Front Royal is just blowing out. So I decided to land over here. So I said maybe there's a chance I hook something over here at these mountains here, and then go to Linden. But yeah, I said no, I'm not gonna do it. And yeah, I land here in a crappy field where the wind is funneled, goes downhill to the north, and had a very interesting land.